in your mouth. I don't want to be sick. Don't put it in your mouth. You can get very sick. Don't put it in your mouth. I don't want to be sick.
Our immune system has no resistance, so we're feeling uneasy. Social distance for the sickness is needed to recover speedy. Questions asked, media's on blast. No one wants to be living wheezy. If you feeling the flu, there's one thing you must do. Don't spread this sneezy. Cough into your elbow, don't touch your eyes and nose. If you've been exposed, put your plans on hold. Do as you're told, this ain't the common cold. Public safety is the #1 goal, not just you anymore. It's for the young and the old. WHO says LAL stay home. There goes my excuse to not clean no more. Guess I'm gonna mop the floor. Didn't stock up and wipes. Toilet paper is hype. I got a regular amount. I think I'll be alright. Frozen fruits always right. Move rat night to Skype. Corn streaming from the couch. This is the life. Come on, G's. Stay inside, please. And if you sneeze, use your sleeves. Take sick leave. Avoid viruses. With the MVPs, they gotta stop the disease. Not the end of the world, but it's a slippery slope. Wash your hands with extra soap. Swish your mouth with go. Keep it fresh. That's dope. You need smiles right now? Well, I'm shelling out hope. 2020's arrived, but we'll be just fine. Exercise, extra veggies, no fries. Don't stress. It's cool. Work on your health. And remember,
Don't put it in your mouth. Don't you can get very sick. Don't put it in your mouth. Don't put it in your mouth. I don't want to be sick. Don't put it in your mouth. You can get very sick. Don't put it in your mouth. Don't put it in your mouth. I don't want to be sick.
no, you don't.
Hey, what am I doing? I don't even like beets. Then don't put it in your mouth. Bye-bye, everyone.
Nowadays, people tend to look over the real art.
Damn!
Make it funky, 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 make it funky.
And now for something completely different.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Salute the killers.
Hey, Doc Strange in the house from Detroit. How's it going, man?
What up, though? Very
Be-
happy to be here. Salute.
Thank you for attending. So, yeah, well, first of all, thank you to everybody for attending and participating. Apologies if I'm not always looking directly at you because my camera's up here and my screens are down here. So we'll make it work. Yeah, let's go for it. So just to tell you briefly who I am, so you know who the hell's talking at you. My name's Dan, or Versatile DJ Leach. Any of them will do. I'm from Middlesbrough, which is a town in the UK, but I'm actually speaking to you from Leeds, which is another city in the north of England. And I've been a hip hop DJ, scratch DJ for about 20 years now. Been involved in the hip hop and the scratch and the turntablist scene for about 20 years. So that'll do for me. That's all you need to know, really. But that explains why I'm here. So you will have read this on the event page, but I'm just going to read it out again so you know exactly what's going on. Okay, so supported by the Nottinghamshire YMCA and funded by the Arts Council England, we are bringing you right now an exciting 12-month project that will promote and explore the art of turntablism, with coaching provided by a wide range of global experts. Project aims to help grow the Skratcher community through a series of bi-monthly events, offering a platform for turntablists to meet, jam, and share ideas. The events will also host live performances and showcases from the UK's top turntablists in partnership with the OTC, which is the online turntablism Cypher, The project will also support DJs of all levels through online tutorials and jam sessions hosted by DJ Fever. We've teamed up with Rob Swift's Brolic Army to enrol 5 DJs who will perfect their skills under Rob's expert guidance, and we'll also be working with the Unite the Scene dance crew and DJ Statik to create a unique routine using phase technology. So just first of all, I'd like to say that I'm not the only one who's going to be speaking to you other than our special guests, which we'll announce in a second. I also have a co-host who should be appearing right about now.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for that, Dan. Yeah, really looking forward to tonight, and thanks everyone who's tuned in. Good to see you. My name's Luke Skywalker, one of the oldest DJs in the world. So yeah, I'm just going to be popping along with Dan, jumping in every now and then, and trying to share some of my experiences and help you guys along for the evening. So yeah, looking forward to this one. And back up, don't really need to know that much about me, really. So yeah, nice one, Dan. I think we should really try and get on, because we've got a lot to get through tonight.
Yeah, man, that's why I kept my intro brief. Just before we do move on with the running order and announcing the special guests, I just want to say this: none of this would be possible if it wasn't for a guy called DJ Circle from Nottingham, who is the there he is, DJ Circle. So DJ Circle from Nottingham, the founder of Skratcher Nottingham, essentially the event organizer, applied for this funding for several years in a row and was knocked back until this year, just as he decided to move to Malaysia. So now, it's a true story. So he is there in Kuala Lumpur, and it's about 3 in the morning or something like that.
It's roasting. Just want to bring in Neil Macker if we can, because he actually wrote the bids. I supported him. Is he about? Can we get him on Trekker?
Also, Trekker is our tech guy behind the scenes. You won't be seeing him, but he'll be making sure everything's running as smooth as it can.
Let's bring Macker on later. Let's get on with it.
Yeah, anyway, cheers, DJ Circle, because I don't think, and I've said this a lot of times, if it weren't for Skratcher, I probably would have not been doing any of the battles and stuff that I've been doing. So it's kept me going. So big ups for that. Thanks a lot, mate. Respect.
Wicked, man. Nice one.
We're bringing in this. No? Okay, right. So just quick rundown. We've guest appearances, special guest appearances, should I say. Who's typing away there? Right. So Vekked, John First, Statik, Luke Skywalker, my co-host, and the odd couple consisting of Rob Swift and Mr. Sinister. So coming up right now, we've got a showcase video from DJ Vekked, 2015 World DMC Champion, online 2015 DMC World Champion, many other titles and World Championships. Yeah, can we get that? Thank you.
Tell me, what is the next stop?
There's gonna be a big to-do in Nottingham.
Oh, yes, the next stop is Nottinghamshire. Uh-oh, here comes old bad news himself. Nottingham was in deep trouble.
To tell you that you're whack. Do I have to tell you that you're whack? Do I have to tell you? Do I have to tell you that you're whack? Do I have to tell you that you're whack? Time and time again. Here's a brief example of a complicated cut.
Tremendo jugador, pa' que lo goces con tremendo jugador, pa' que tú goces tremendo jugador, tremendo jugador, tremendo jugador, tremendo jugador, tremendo jugador, tremendo
Hello.
Oh, wow.
Round of applause for that one. That
Yeah.
was amazing. Well done. My downstairs neighbours are probably going to complain from me stomping on the floor of that one. So, joining us live from Ontario, I don't know exactly where, I think it's near Toronto, Ontario, Canada, we have Vekked right now. Hello.
Yeah, near Toronto. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Whereabouts exactly, Vekked?
I'm like in the country, basically, like 3 hours sort of north of Toronto right now.
3 hours, and that's near Toronto, is it?
For Canada, yeah.
Right,
for Canada,
okay.
that's like next door.
Okay, wow, fair enough. So, how's it going over there? What time is it, first of all?
It's 3 p.m. I just got up, just having my morning coffee, and yeah, it's all right. You know, all things considered, it's going. Not many gigs these days, but
I think that's the case for a lot of people, although it is starting to open up again over here in England.
yeah, we're starting to open up like a tiny bit too.
And how severe was the lockdown over there?
Good question. I don't like it. It was like like in this area of Canada is pretty strict. Like basically like there's like nothing like indoors at all from pretty much like November until 3 weeks ago or something. So yeah, not much happening.
So pretty hardcore then.
Yeah, pretty hardcore. Yeah.
Cool. Well, not cool, but thank you for letting us know.
Not that cool, no.
No,
but,
it's just
it
you know,
is what it is. We're all going through it. So.
Around the world, yeah. Not
Yeah,
much we could
yeah.
do about it.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about the flip or flop battle, please, Vekked?
Flip or flop battle. The flip or flop battle. Let's see. It's a battle that I was running for the better part of like the pandemic. Took a little hiatus for the summer, but we're gonna kick it off in the next couple of weeks again. I think for the fourth season of it, I believe. But basically, it's like I don't know exactly how it came about, but it's a weekly Twitch DJ battle where you get the samples 2 hours ahead of time, and you have 2 hours to like make a routine, to make a video and send it over. So like yeah, to do all that, not very long. And then basically I judge it with like flip or flop buttons on my stream deck, and basically, yeah, I'm like a really mean judge, and sort of inspired by like the Rock Rada Gong battle. Rest in peace, Rock Rada, but like he had the battle where they'd like hit the gong and you'd get taken off stage and you wouldn't even like finish your routine, kind of thing. I always thought that was like a really cool idea. Like even though it's like pretty harsh, it's like it's sort of one of the only ways to get like real-time feedback like in a competition, you know, like if like you get the plug pulled in the middle of your routine, then you know like you gotta step it up. Okay,
so 2 hours though, that's not a lot, is it?
No, it's not. And that part was sort of like there's sort of two things I was thinking of for like the being against the clock, but like producer battles always do that kind of stuff. Like you have like a short amount of time to flip a sample, and also like an idea that like I've always thought was kind of interesting, but doesn't happen a lot in traditional battles. Is like using the same, like everyone using the same material. Like you have some options, but basically like everyone has to use like a small group of like samples and beats and stuff, and you have to just do what you can with it. And it's cool to see like how different people flip the same source material.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Lee, have you got a question for Vekked?
Yeah. Hi,
What's
Vekked.
up?
Long
What's up,
time no
Luke?
see, mate.
Yeah, it's been a minute. What was the last time Was it Poland?
I
Probably.
think it was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was then.
Oh man, 2014. Neck minute.
It's
7 years later.
Yeah. Apart from your flip flop battle, which has been wicked, and amazing tutorials, because I don't know anybody on this planet that can break down things like you do. It's you know, you are a professor in my opinion. So is there any, are you doing any educational things outside of Twitch, and have you got your own school going or any plans?
Not like a school per se, but I've been doing like one-on-one teaching, like Skype and Zoom. That's like basically like one of the main things I've been doing the pandemic. I think like everybody sort of has had to adjust to, you know, the new life and working and stuff. So for me, it's been like teaching has been a big part of it. You know, because right now I feel like for a lot of people there's not a ton to do except for trying to level up on the DJ end of things and just trying to improve and stuff. So yeah, I do the private lessons like that, and then the Twitch, like the master classes, I was doing those. Yeah, and then that's for like teaching stuff. That's basically it.
Any production coming through or anything like that?
Yes, I've been producing a lot. Actually, that's like been taking up aside from teaching, like that's probably where I've spent the most time on. But it's all like pop music, and like I'm doing some scoring stuff and that. And basically, it's like I don't know. It's not like hip hop. It's not like Vekked stuff. It's like weird side project type of stuff, but it, you know, it kind of it pays the bills, and it's kind of fun, keeps me like active in music and that kind of thing. But
yeah, it's a good creative outlet for you to be chasing. So
yeah, exactly.
I want to go back quite a long time ago, because I've seen you go from nothing really, because we were all together on forums years ago.
My first battle was the one that you ran, like the WSTC. That was like my first like real battle, like even though it was online. But yeah,
I think I'm on mic.
Yeah, but even going before that, because a lot of this tonight, it's all about like education and turntablism, and you know, we're all doing a community thing. We want to get people together, and you know, just spread the word about turntablism and what it can do for you. So back in the day, would you say you was like self-taught, or would you have been more comfortable in jams or stuff like that? How did you get to be Vekked, the man that he is now?
Oh, weird. I just got muted for a second.
Okay, yeah.
I would say like I was sort of like self-taught in a sense, just because when I came up, I was like pretty isolated in terms of like I wasn't I didn't grow up like in close to the city or close to DJing. I never knew any DJs or saw any DJing like in person. It was all online basically, and like that's how I got into it. And that was like my exposure to like all music basically, because I think for a lot of people who don't grow up in like a big urban center, like you don't like any of the music you get is sort of like imported to the wherever you are. So like I was self-taught in that sense, but I would say like basically like between like message boards and forums, and then like getting help like from like random DJs when I met them, like one of the probably most helpful things for me was like when I went to like watch the DMC battles, and I met other DJs and stuff like Shub and Wondercut, rest in peace. He just passed away a few days ago. But those guys, let me see, Droppin' Dave, there's a lot of like Canadian, basically like tons of the sort of Canadian battle DJs and stuff. Like I just like picked people's brains and that kind of thing. And some people like, yeah, would just give me
There's
advice.
some really good DJs come out of Canada. So
yeah,
we've had a good
man.
resource there, but it's such a big place, but you know, you can't.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because it's like it is so big that you know, so for some guys like people who are on the West Coast, like the only time I would ever see them in a year would be if they came to like the national finals or something, because it's like what is it, a 7-hour flight to go out there. So, you know, and like it was always like when it was always cheaper and shorter for me to fly to like UK for DMC Worlds than it would be to like go out west and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, so the power of the internet and stuff, it kind of puts this together.
I don't want to take over here too much, Dan. You got anything else?
I think you covered it, to be honest, mate. I'm just keeping an eye on the time, that's all.
Any chat questions? I see GQ mentioned King the Dot. That was like one of the first, like that's a battle rap league, like Don't Flop in the UK. But that was probably my first like for people like who didn't know me before, like outside of Canada, that's probably the first time I did stuff that was like had like I don't know, that people were watching me online. Like a lot of people probably saw me for the first time on King of the Dot. But I was like, I had already won Canadian DMC before that, but there's no footage or anything. There's no Canadian DMC videos. So yeah.
Right. So I think that probably we about wrapped up with that one. I've got no technical person to shout in my ear, but I don't know how we're doing for time. And I could, I could sit and talk here all night with you.
That's the problem. I think we all could. I could certainly, I could ask Vekked questions all night, but we don't have all night.
We could have some, if we get through the, I think good thing, if you're hanging about, I don't know if you're hanging about, we could get through the showcases and have everybody in to do questions at the end. Is that a good thing?
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll be here for a little bit. I don't know if I'll be able to stay for the whole thing, but yeah, for sure.
That's cool. Anyway, yeah, mega thanks for turning up, and that showcase was off the hook.
It was, yeah.
Thank you guys for having me. Just to
always a pleasure.
Circle himself for putting this all together and everything.
Thank you very much, Vekked.
Nice one. So I think it's over to me to introduce our next guy, and it's another person that I've known for a long time, since he was a kid himself. And it looks like I've frozen my camera, but I'm going to carry on. Yeah, I'm back. So yeah, the next guy, 2013 DMC Online World Champion. And like I say, I've watched him come through the ranks as a little kid when he was battling, and it's amazing to see how this guy's developed. So yeah, I'd like to bring in John first.
Hello.
How are we doing?
Here in sunny Leicester.
Wow.
It certainly looks exotic there.
From your Midland neighbours here. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me, everyone. Big up everyone involved in organising. Darren, for inviting me. So cool. This is a really great thing you guys have got going on. I'm obviously familiar with Skratcher for a long time, but it's my first time attending a Nottingham thing, and hopefully in the future get to come to something in IRL, as they say.
Yes, that's got to be done, I think. Definitely 100%, because you're down the road as well, like say we're neighbours.
No excuses.
So this Skratcher launch, it's all been made possible from a grant from the Arts Council, and I know you've been heavily involved in you've done a video project that's brilliant, by the way. Really enjoyed that. Darren DJ Circle, he got this Skratcher Nottingham together, and he's just got the council grant. Was it a big old process? Because there's quite a few, well, I know there's at least one person in this chat room that's trying to create a community, a unit, and get scratch jams together. Is it a mad process to get the Arts Council grant, and how did you go through that? Is it, and sorry to have to go and talk about this, but
no at all. It's interesting. Like I knew about funding before. I have some friends in like more traditional bands who've applied for stuff before, and organizations who've applied for funding in the past. And this past year, since the pandemic started, they opened it up to DJs and producers as well. And I saw it and thought, I don't know if it's my place to apply. That should go towards like more of like a charity or something like that. I didn't think it was my place, but I was just talking about what I was making at the time. And when we show the videos and stuff, I can kind of show the evolution of where I was at when I started applying for it and stuff. But I've been doing some video editing work with one of my projects, which I'll show you in a sec, and was looking at doing the next step of that. How could I evolve that from me doing some like more like split screen video work to doing something on my own with animation? And I was looking into tutorials online and stuff like that. I was talking to my friend, who one of these people who had was in a band who'd got some funding for a non-profit compilation they were putting out. And they said this particular grant, there's several ones that the National Lottery Arts Council goes for, but they had this specific one called Developing Your Creative Practice. And what it is, and they suggested that I look into it, because what they said, like, what you're doing at the moment is exactly what it's for.
Brilliant.
So I thought, I'll look into it. And what it is rather than looking for financial support for something you already know how to do. So in our case, trying to get funding for entering DJ battles, for example, wouldn't be possible. Or trying, if you're a producer, producing your next record wouldn't be the thing. It's like learning a new skill set that you want to involve in your daily work or your daily creativity. So for me, it was learning After Effects software, updating my camera gear so I could shoot at a more professional level, and the time to put the hours in to learn the software, make stuff, and get creative without, as a self-employed person, without that financial pressure of like, how am I going to pay my bills while I'm doing all this essentially research that might turn into nothing, you know? And that's exactly what they're looking for, is time to learn something and giving yourself the time to develop, so you can really get into it, make those mistakes without having to worry about, yikes, how am I going to pay the bills while I'm doing it? So that was a huge privilege to have. I've never had that as a like independent producer or musician in my life, like to be able to just make stuff and then get a bit of money for those hours that I was putting in. So yeah, I did it for 2 or 3 days a week for about 3 or 4 months, and learned how to use After Effects and a bunch of visual plugins, and combine that with what I already knew about video editing and making routines from our side of things, and made a 12-minute routine that's on YouTube. I'll show a little bit of that later. And now I'm using it in other stuff. Like I put up a little mix clip for an event I was putting on that used like animating a flyer and then using all the elements and stuff like that. It's going to be something I'm going to continue to use, and hopefully do something like an AV show where I've made all the music, made all the routines, and made all the visuals. That's like my next like big goal with it. But in terms of, so to go back to your question, I know it's a long-winded answer, about someone who's looking to apply to that at the moment is, yeah, try to fulfill, if you're going for that specific grant, try to fulfill that category of looking to develop something that you're not already doing but is relevant to what you do. Like you can't like retrain and be a graphic designer, but if you're doing like you want to combine graphics with your current, if you're a turntablist making turntablist stuff, and find like a way to show that, and also show a structured plan, like you're going for like a uni project or a college project or a job interview or something like that, and go, here's how exactly I'm going to spend my time. And you can change it later. It's just so they know that you're serious about it and it's structured, so you can so it looks professional basically, and you do some research on what if you want to spend money on courses, which is something else I did, or equipment. Pick out the stuff, and you can always change it later, because as creative people, our ideas change all the time. I ended up kind of going a different route with mine, but was able to like change it a little bit to make it work. So as long as you're like prepared and fulfill those things, it's a bit of a lottery still, because so many people are going for those at the moment. But if you can follow those, there's a good chance that they're going to be like behind you. And you can, if you don't get it, you can tweak it and reapply another time. I don't think there's a limit on how many times you can do that. So it's
excellent. Oh, thanks for that information. I think we're all wetting ourselves to see you on the decks.
Okay. So I'll be quick with this one. So I've chosen 3 routines, and I'll do like a little tutorial on what I was doing with them. So I guess like most people, if they're familiar with me, will know me from doing the DMC battle stuff and my battle times. But these 3 routines are stuff that I've done more recently, which are each about showing a different thing that I've been trying to do. The first one is I wanted to make a routine. It's a couple of years old now, but I wanted to make a routine with 1 mixer and 1 turntable using cue points, and I'll break it down after it showed. So
excellent.
Here we go.
I think we're going to roll with that now. Thanks a lot. I'll chat to you in a bit.
Yo.
Break it down. Break it down.
Sweaty is how I look in that, basically. Is everyone?
Wow. I wasn't sure whether we had 3 routines back to back. So yeah, if you want to.
Okay.
I did have a quick question, but it can wait. It's all good.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So for that one, that was a released track by a producer called Stray, and I love playing it in sets and thought it'd be a fun one because of how like it's got all those like isolated stabs in the song. It'd be really fun to kind of like replay it, but with fills in between. And I thought it'd be interesting to quickly break down how I'm triggering so many things, because I'm actually on the right turn, or the turntable side. I've got like 6 audio tracks, because as we all know, like you're limited by the amount of notes you can trigger is limited by the amount of cue points that you've got on your mixer. So one thing I've kind of developed for making those sort of routines is making sure I have some sort of transitional thing that I hit to give me time to load the next bank of sounds. So if you watch it back later, there's a version on YouTube if you want to nerd out on it later. I'm always triggering something on either on the opposite side to where I next need to load my samples. So most of the time in that routine, it's on the left deck, and I've kind of got like a 2-bar section that gives me time to go next track in Serato, and then I might bang into my next cue. So that's one thing. And another thing I thought about for composition was I made this originally to do as a little showpiece in clubs, which is why it's a little bit more simple than some of my previous battle stuff. And one thing I always think about for that is thinking about the context of where I'm playing. And I want to be able to mix in and mix out of my routines, just like I would mix in and mix out of any other song if I'm playing drum and bass or whatever it is. So I made sure I have an intro and an outro. So that part, when I'm doing like all the snares with trick mixing at the end, I can loop that indefinitely and like mix another tune in. And I made sure that section didn't have too much going on. So like a mix it wouldn't be too busy a mix. Yeah, someone has
you have
said,
got a question there. Yep.
Thank you, DJ Angry Midget. Are you queuing multiple cues in one file, jumping through files while scratch banks on both? So I made this before scratch banks were a thing, but you could do it that way also. So I have it on my mixer. I have the next, like the load button. I have that MIDI mapped to load next song in playlist. So I have all the sounds I need in a little routine playlist. And whenever I hit next on either side, what it will do would be to highlight the next file in my playlist and then load it to that corresponding side of my mixer. And then it keeps on going down. So you don't have to like click the next thing or scroll down. It just goes boom, 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 down the playlist as I need it. So you can MIDI map that. I think the way I did it was there's like a double forward arrow on the playhead on each Serato deck. So I MIDI mapped that to that button. I think that's how I did it.
Man, that sounds complicated.
It's easier than it sounds. I learned it from watching DJ Ride from
Portugal. Beat Bombers.
Yeah. And he showed me that because I was like, and scroll and scroll and scroll between all my samples. He's like, oh no, you can map it this way. So that I learned it from him. So big up DJ Ride.
That could save me a lot of bother.
Okay, so the next.
So do you want to roll on to the next video clip?
Okay, so yeah, next one is a routine I did with Shield from Denmark, and I'll explain it after.
that was very, very musical indeed.
It was
really
funky.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, guys. So yeah, the way we made that. So he's called Shield. He's from Denmark. He's like a percussionist, plays keys, and really sick producer. And we made a bunch of music together, and then decided to start making routines, and then made a live show. And again, prior to this old friend, the pandemic, that's not really going anymore. But prior to then, that was like our job basically. Like we were touring loads and made a bunch of music. And if anyone's interested, there's like a couple of like whole sets you can see on my YouTube, and like individual routines as well, and a bunch of stuff on Spotify, all that jazz. I thought it'd be interesting to break down very quickly how we'd make something like that for either someone who makes scratch music or looking to doing stuff like team battles and stuff. And so for that particular one, that was one of his own productions, but the majority of our stuff was both of us, but that specific one was that. And what we would do would be, we would, in this case, took an existing song and then listened through to it, thinking, what are the key elements of the song, like the main ones that jump out at us as being like the big hooks or like the most impactful parts of the songs, and then working out what would be the best or like coolest way visually to perform those, and then thinking about who should do that. We should go like Q&A back and forth between each other. When one person's taking a lead, the other person should be supporting with rhythm rather than us like both shredding all over each other at the same time. Making sure that we have different roles throughout, so it's interesting and not just repeating the same thing. And on a bigger scale, when it came to the show, that was like a big thing we thought of throughout it as well. So if like we did things like saving like the big R and fresh solos to near the end of the show, so they were like the highlight, if you want, from a scratchy nerd perspective. And yeah, just having fun with it really, like, and taking turns to see who could flip the different sounds in different ways and stuff like that.
Almost like you're battling each other, really. But
yeah, exactly. And having a lot of areas where we knew where, what I'd call like a cue point in terms of when you let go of a sample. So like, I don't know, like releasing a phrase at the end of a bar is like an easy example. If we knew that was our cue, we could just improvise the rest of it because we know our stuff is in key. So we could just like, I don't know, like do some chirps and then release a sample, or next show we'll do it with stabs. So it would keep us interesting for us performing the same show 10 times in a row without it being boring. And it was like those things that kept it fresh for us. And in terms of the sounds, they were all made either like with like software synths, hardware synths, or recorded things. And once we decided who was going to play what, we would bounce stems or the patches from the software to our various like little battle stations, if you like. So I had like a track list of all of the samples I needed for each song in the right order, and the same, we'd have a patch for every synth sound we'd need on Ableton, and we actually had it MIDI triggering, activating all of those sounds in time with a backing track as well. So we never had to cycle for our playlist, for our patches. They would jump out at us, so we could just go to the keyboard and it would be playing for us. As in like, it would be loaded, so we wouldn't have to do anything. And we'd have all the MIDI parameters, so like a filter, for example, that might change to effects depending on what thing we'd loaded, and it would always load stuff, so we didn't have to figure around with any techie stuff. It was more just about playing and performing and making it a fun visual show so we could interact with the audience and not worry about, sugar, it's not working. So
there's the mapping of all the MIDI stuff and sounds and synths, and that sounds like it takes probably as much time to do as like actually making the routine.
Doing it for the first time, yes, because you're figuring out how to do it and what's the most efficient way. But once you've made like a couple of them, you find out what works for you and what doesn't, and then you kind of build your own like little system for like, this is the limitations of the spaceship, if you like, and like that's what this bit does, that's what that bit does, and we can just go, okay, that's our formula for this particular show. Maybe we'll tweak it next time we make a whole bunch of material. So once we'd worked that out and go, okay, that's how we're going to load our new sounds in, all that sort of stuff, it became a system that we could work really quickly. But doing it for the first time, we were like, do we play every bit live? Do we like literally note for note play everything on a sampler? Do we have a backing track for some bits? Do we never have a backing track? All that sort of stuff. So working it out for doing our very first couple was the hardest bit. But once we kind of had a system down, it was like, we're not trying to do a battle thing where everything has to be like super tech all the time. It's about doing an engaging show, and that became our priority. So it's a little bit different of a mindset from, say, entering IDA or DMC or something like that. It was a lot of fun, and hopefully when travel and stuff is better, we can do some more. But we'll have some more music soon with that.
That definitely needs to be seen to a wider audience, because that's got a really good crossover potential. So moving on, I think we've got yet another routine, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
And here we go.
Just fades out now. Yeah, so yeah, that's part of that Arts Council piece I did recently. So for that, it's a similar premise to the previous video. I made all the music and then thought, how would that be fun to present it? Bounced out all the stems I needed. And because it's all done in post-production, I can have multiple me's via green screen. So I got a green screen, I got the camera and stuff, and then I did all the visuals too. So that particular one, I wanted to use a plugin called Trapcode, which is for like doing 3D stuff. And I made like that kind of, what you call it, a kind of like DNA strandy looking thing, and tried to push how much I could get out of that that plugin. So all the visuals on that are within that weird shape, zoomed in and like twisting that shape as much as I could and stuff like that. Obviously not too much scratching in it, but I thought that would be a fun one to kind of show what I was doing with that.
Nice one. Anything to add?
Yeah. Yeah, very, very quick question that someone else brought up. So a lot of people are doing this these days, but just the geek in me wants to know your particular reason for it, John. So I remember reading an interview with you, I can't remember how many years ago now, but basically you said, unless you're battling, you generally only use one turntable and one mixer. Now I know Lee's reasons for it, because we spoke about it the other day, actually. And also, as I was thinking, that was the question I wanted to ask you before you played the second routine. But Michael Hansen has also mentioned it in the chat as well. So I just wanted to know why you decided to do away with the extra turntable, just briefly.
Sure. I've been doing that outside of battles since 2007 or so. So like I started using Serato a couple of years before, and I remember one of the first gigs I ever had playing out with Serato. I turned up and brought my mixer in my bag and my Serato stuff, and they only had one turntable at the club. Didn't even have a mixer, so it was like I brought my mixer to that gig. And I learned on the spot how to use the internal mode with a relative deck in Serato, and I ended up really enjoying it. Like I can do some scratches the other way around, like real basic stuff, but I've never really put the time into learning how to like shred it up on both. So I prefer bringing in all the new tracks with like my more dominant scratching side. So I can do tricks on every single mix. I can do, excuse me, trick mixing on anything. And I also like now with the loads of features that have been added to Serato over the last 10 years or so, things like you can do a lot of really clever stuff with sync and like adjusting the BPM of both songs if they're synced together simultaneously. So you can like lock a mix and then like go up 10 BPM with them both going up at the same time, which you can't do unless you're in internal mode. So like for me, it gives me a bit of flexibility as someone who mixes a lot of different tempos and genres. And I just kind of got into it. So I only ever use two if I'm doing beat juggling, which these days is pretty rare.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, I was just interested because I've been thinking myself about chopping the setup down as well, because I can only really cut on one side, which is actually my weak hand. My strong hand's on the fader. But I'm not really too good with the fader hand on my left hand, essentially. Cool. Well, thank you very much, John, for all that. We will have to move on in a second.
It's been a pleasure. Big up everyone. And bizarrely, like every single person who's doing a talk today has been at some point of my DJ journey, which has been really, really cool in a way. I've been talking to Loop since I was about 15 or so, and had my very first battle with him. Battled Vekked many times, Jordan as well, and I wouldn't be scratching without the Executioners. So big up all of you. This is me.
Big up everyone. Everyone's awesome. A superstar.
Big up. Hey, big up everyone. I'll stop talking now. Bye.
Thanks, John. Cool. So moving along swiftly from tropical Leicester to what I imagine is a very rainy Manchester, because it is here in Leeds at the moment. Someone that I've had the pleasure of performing alongside and jamming with many, many, many times now over the past, let's say, 6 years-ish. Statik from Manchester, multiple DMC and IDA UK national champion. How are you doing, mate?
Man, you all right? Okay. Good, man.
Yeah, sound, mate. Thank you for joining us.
Nice one. Yeah, just checking you can hear me. Yeah, man, it's been all right.
And is it raining?
No, I was just saying, and it's actually been pretty sunny today.
Don't lie to me.
Honestly, pretty surprised.
Well, it's absolutely miserable over here across the Pennines. The rain is ridiculous. So, first question for you, Jordan. How many times in a row did you actually win the DMC and the IDA? Because I feel like it was like 5, was it 5 years or something? You won both?
Was like 2. I think the biggest run I've ever had is only 2 in a row.
All right. Oops.
Yeah. No, it's all right.
I was sure All right, never mind. You
No,
obviously know better than me.
I've done it where I've had like 2 in a row, stopped for a year, done 2 in a row and again, and then I just like kind of have a break after 2.
It must just have been the way I remember it then, which is
That's all right.
obviously completely wrong. Apologies. Still very
All
well
good.
accomplished young DJ.
Cheers.
No worries. So you've been doing some teaching. I've been getting into teaching the last couple of years, correct?
Yeah, I've just been doing sort of like, it's just been teaching people on CDJs really, not really like many turntablist stuff, but it's just been teaching people how to mix. Been doing workshops with kids in schools. I've been trying to do my own things as well. Like I'm trying to get some more tutorials made, just waiting on some stuff for a microphone. But other than that, yeah, just doing a bit of teaching, teach people how to press play on CDJs really. That's pretty much it.
They're not let you bring the turntables into that.
There's turntables there, but it's very rare you get people who want to scratch, but teach people how to mix on vinyl, but it's not really that, very far and few in between.
The students are not really interested in learning how to cut.
Not really. Like every now and again you get one person who's like, oh, I saw this DJ, and they'll show me like a Red Bull freestyle video or some guy who's just doing some atrocious scratching, and they're like, I want to do this. And then you're like, all right, cool. Then I'll be like, let me show you this stuff, and I'll show them like either like Craze or something like that. But like, this is good scratching. But other than that, yeah, it's all right.
Okay. Lee, have you got a quick question?
I haven't.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
I was completely caught off guard there. I was reading some notes, so no,
yeah.
I haven't. But I know Jordan's a wicked turntablist. That's all we all need to know.
Pretty much. Well, just going back to the teaching then quickly. So these guys are not really interested in scratching. So presumably you're not teaching them how to mix hip hop. It's more dance music.
No, it's literally just like a lot of it is just house music. That's the general consensus of what people tend to really want to get into when they're DJing or when they want to learn. But every now and again, you get someone who's like into dubstep and drum and bass and jungle and stuff like that. So I'm happy with that. Or you get someone who wants to mix hip hop, and then they realize that you have to do a ton of prep to be able to mix hip hop. Because obviously trying to get people to mix 2 tunes together that aren't just straight beats and have lyrics, and trying not to have vocal clashes in there. It's a skill in itself, like learning that stuff as well as beat matching, because you've got to figure out your tunes, and then you got to prepare them as well. Like saying a serato, you got to have like loops and cue points if you want to mix hip hop. But yeah, it's generally just a lot of electronic music, which I don't mind. Pays the bills.
Is there any specific one that really gets on your nerves that you have to teach? Or do you not want to answer that question?
Trance music is just
trance. Okay.
Trance music just makes me go to sleep, man.
Funny, because it's supposed to have the opposite effect, isn't it? Trance really.
It bores the hell out of me.
Fair enough. Okay. So the video that you've got coming up, the routine.
Yeah.
Are you going to tell us a little bit about it now, or do you want to do it after we? Yeah, it looks like it'll have to be after the video. Sorry, dude.
I'll just say it's pretty rough. I did it last minute.
Okay, let's play that tracker. Thank you.
Stick 'em, ha ha ha, stick 'em. Stick 'em, ha ha ha, stick 'em. Stick 'em, ha ha ha, stick 'em. Stick 'em, stick 'em, ha ha ha, stick 'em. Stick 'em.
uppercut.
We are killing my block again. Got the things on lock and again. Them attack 10 shots and again. Them on the old pants on them again. Dash them, I like them again. Recover that iPad again. Man, I'm ready for the war. If it comes on top, coming out, feels right in the kill.
Big up Statik for that one.
Cheers, guys.
That's made me a very happy man.
Nice one, man.
So, when you said that one was rough, did you mean incredible?
No, I left it last minute because I've been working and that, and then I just was like, oh crap, I've got to do a video, record it, and then that was the best tea, really. And I was like, right, that's
was
gonna have
easy
to do.
as that for you, was it? Just thought I'll just nip in there for a minute and sort this and just chuck this out.
Well, they're all old routines or stuff I've got that I'm working on. So I mean that marker one's pretty new, but all the other ones I've made in like the past year. But yeah.
Well, they're very impressive as always, mate.
Well, thank you.
So
Man.
we will have to move on shortly. I've got 2 questions for you, but I'm going to roll them up into one.
No worries.
And then we've had a slight change to the running order. So, question then.
Yep.
From Statik to El Statico, back to Statik. What was the reason for that? And in the same question, well, hang on.
Okay.
Battling, is that it for you now? Or are you going to go step back in the ring and battle at any point? Do you think?
So that reason for the name change was just basically because I just feel like it was doesn't really translate well. to anything outside of the turntablist world. I just felt like it's probably a bit more easy to go with Statik. That's part of the reason, and as well, like I hate the name. I think it's pretty cringy, so I don't know why I changed it in the first place, if I'm honest. But just whenever, like, when it was like trying to like get in touch with a promoter and they'd be like, oh, what's your DJ name? Or when anyone said what's your DJ name, I kind of cringed a little bit before I said it. So yeah, that's part of the reason why I changed it. And battling, I don't really know, some point down the line, but I've been really getting into making beats recently, so that's the thing that's really taking my time up. But if I did, I probably would do team stuff, because the solo stuff is too much time and effort. I mean, I love it, but at the same time, like, you're literally putting your life on pause for a year, and then in that time, you end up giving up work to practice for the competitions. And I mean, I'm not really a prize, orientated person when it comes to this, because it's it's more the being able to be like, I've won it, it's like an accolade as such. But the prizes, I find sometimes the competitions aren't really that up to standard to the amount of time you put into it. If you're doing a competition and then like, hey, congratulations, here's a £100 portable turntable, it's kind of like, cheers. That's not going to pay my bills for a month, is it?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not going to use this because I don't use them. But it's just little things like that. You just like, kind of, I'm not really doing it for prizes, but it's at the same time, it's like, if I have to financially recoup from doing this, then
what's more worth your time in a sense?
Yeah.
What are you gonna?
I would love to do them again, but at the same time, it's like, I enjoy being able to pay my bills, and I enjoy being able to do things. Do you know what I mean? I think everyone who's battled as well can understand where this is coming from, because you do give up time, and you do give up work to do these things, unless you're like a professional DJ. But if you like a bar DJ, you're probably going to be like, I don't really want to play in the bar tonight, I want to practice.
All right.
Well,
Thank you very much.
That's my answer to that.
No, that was cool, man. I had some ideas behind your answer, because obviously we've spoken before, but I wanted you to speak to the people.
Also, as well, can I just add? I mean, obviously, when you win, you lose, whether or not you still learn from it and you still upgrade your skill set. But when you, for example, are entering a battle and then I don't know, like, you might get robbed or something from winning, it's a massive kick in the nuts, and it's like, it takes months and months to get back from that.
A few people I know.
Yep, it's happened to me a few times, and I've just been like, right.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, nice, that's it. That was all I need to add on that one.
No, appreciate it, mate. Insightful. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the routine.
Thank you for having us.
Always. No, pleasure as always.
Nice one, Darren, for putting this on as well.
Absolutely. Big up DJ Circle in Malaysia. We have to move on though. So big up. We'll catch you later on. Right. So moving swiftly back to my co-host in Nottingham.
Yeah, wicked one for that one, Jordan. That was, I really did love that. I want to just watch that a lot more. So yeah, it's on to me, and I'll chat about it afterwards. We just roll with it. It's a one deck routine, and it's bits and bobs, and I'll talk about it afterwards. So yeah, we can run that if you want now, Trucker.
Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about the Akai MPD-218. This is a low-budget MIDI controller that acts as a finger drumming pad. Let's go over an example of how we can use this.
Yeah, so basically, Gary S, that was the bog standardest loop pedal you can ever buy. I bought it off eBay for 35 quid. It's a RC1. And you can buy them. People actually send them back because they don't know how to use them properly, and they're set with a factory default. And if you watch a YouTube video and you do buy one, you just click it's literally holding the pedal down and doing something, and then it magically works how you want it, how you think it might work. So yeah, there's I found that out on YouTube. But basically that's a loop pedal routine, just odds and bits that I've been doing. I'm working on new stuff, and yeah, I feel a bit embarrassed because everyone's been amazing tonight. But yeah, I think are we ready for the Odd Couple up next? Yeah,
we are indeed, mate.
Excellent. So yeah, have we got anyone from Odd Couple on the cams, or are we going to go straight into the video?
I think we're going to go into the video if Trekker's got that lined up.
Ah, he could be on his way.
So this was the slight change to the running order.
Yeah, big ups Vekked for coming through. Nice one for you to be here, mate. I think you're just on your way. So yeah, many thanks for that, Vekked, and let's see you again at some point.
Yo, 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 yo. And I just want to let y'all know I'm your pusher. The world is about to feel something that they never felt before. Come on, 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 come on,
my flow. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Throw them type of niggas right out my window. Blast your ass, hit you with a direct blow. Blast your ass, hit you with a direct blow. Blast your ass, hit you with a direct blow. Blast your ass, hit you with a direct blow. Blast your ass, hit you with a direct blow. Blast your ass, hit you with a direct blow. Blast your ass, hit you with a direct blow. Blast your ass, hit you with a direct blow.
I go on and on, can't understand how I last so long. I go on and on. Where you get your beats? I go on and on, can't understand how I last so long. I must have superpowers, rap 225,000 hours. Get a calculator, do the math. I made 1,000 songs that made you move your ass. And for the last 300 months, I made 16 albums with me on the front, and they bump.
Rob Swift, how you doing, man?
I'm well. Could you hear me okay?
All loud
On the
and clear.
video, absolutely, yeah.
All right, awesome, man. Thank you for welcoming me to this little get together with you guys. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you for attending. Thank you for being here, dude.
Right on.
So, Brolic Army, yeah? Can you tell us more about the Brolic Army, please, Rob?
So I've been teaching DJ art officially since 2016 on my own. Obviously, as a DJ, and I'm sure the DJs on this stream with us can identify with that scenario where you're at home, in the living room, or in your bedroom, cutting it up for your friends. One of them gets up and asks you to teach them what you just did. And so my point there is, I feel like I've been teaching pretty much since I started DJing, because my audience when I was a kid, 12, 13 years old, were my friends. And my friends wanted to learn how to do all that magical stuff that I was doing on the turntable. So I'd, walk them up to my dad's equipment, put their hand on the turntable and teach them how to move the record back and forth. So I feel like I've been teaching informally since I started DJing, but formally on my own with regards to Brolic Army. I've been doing that since 2016, teaching people on Skype, FaceTime, DJs that don't live around me that still want to learn the secrets of this art would hit me up on Facebook and other social media platforms and ask for lessons. And my thing now is to not hoard what I know about this art, to project it out into the world so that the art form continues to grow. And so I throw up a lot of the sessions with me and these students from across the globe, really, on YouTube, and my platform just grew. And finally, this year in January, I properly launched my own hub, Brolic Army DJ School. That's the website. And you could log on there and expose yourself to secrets of this art form that before you'd probably lose your life if you told other DJs, but now the whole plight of the art form, with technology and certain aspects of the art being lost, my goal is to educate people, man, so that when I'm gone, the art form is still intact. So that's really the whole concept behind Brolic Army DJ School, is to just teach people that aren't available to me physically. They could go on the website and learn virtually.
Okay, cool. So just a quick one on the back of that. Then, why do you think it is the switch from the art of turntablism and the secrets and how to do things has changed from it being a closely guarded secret to, because it's not just yourself, obviously, that's opened it up and decided to pass the knowledge on. Why did nobody give up the secrets back in the day, Rob?
Well, when I was coming up, to a degree still, hip hop is a very private art form, in the sense that when you're being creative, you don't want your creativity to be copied or mimicked by others. And so it's important as a hip hop artist to guard your creativity and protect it, because there was a term when I was coming up called biting that really isn't used anymore. And so that was the cardinal rule of hip hop. The number one golden rule was to not bite, not copy, to be original and be yourself. And so I feel as though people now that weren't around back then don't have a connection to a lot of the different, you guys hear that? I keep getting texts.
Yeah, we can hear it.
Hold on one second. Let me tell this. person has stopped texting me. Oh man. So I feel like back then, because we were so guarded with our talent, with our creativity, people now that don't have a connection to that stage, that time frame when hip hop was still growing and there was these rules that you respected. Now it's kind of a free for all. So you kind of like accumulate whatever knowledge you can, you go out there and do it, and you're not even taking the time out to assess where you got this information from and cite the techniques that you're doing in front of people. So I feel because of that, now DJs like myself are making it a point to teach, to educate, because this generation is so far removed from my generation, you know? So I was actually, this is a great example. I was having a conversation with someone online, and this happens often. They were asking me for advice on how to progress as scratchers. And I was like, well, yo, you should study the pioneers of this art form. Maybe then you'll have better context on what you're learning at the DJ school that you're signed up to. They weren't a student of mine. They were a student of another DJ school, but they hit me up on a DM on Instagram for some advice. And the person responded, I do study the pioneers. I study D-Styles, I study Qbert, and that was just an interesting response, because like as far as my ilk, DJs like me, we don't consider Qbert or D-Styles or even myself the pioneers of this art form. The pioneers of this art form are Grandmaster Flash, Grandmaster Theodore, Grandmixer DST. Those are the guys that started it. We help take the art to the next level, but we're not the ones that started this. We're not the ones that created this. So that's what I mean by this generation being so far removed from the beginnings of it. And because of that, I feel it's important to teach so that there's a bridge being built from the generation that I came up in to the generation that's coming up now with controllers and CDJs and the DJ apps.
Cool, fantastic, brilliant answer. So moving just somewhat involved, so somewhat related to that, Rob. So DJ Circle, as you know DJ Circle very well, who organised this whole thing, has asked you to let people know how they can get involved with your DJ school and the Brolic Army.
So it's very simple. Big ups to DJ Circle, who I've trained with here in the Lair in Queens, New York City. About a year or two ago, he came over and we practiced together, and that was a lot of fun. But becoming a member of the Brolic Army DJ School is very simple. All you do is log on to brolicarmydjschool.com, and there you'll have full descriptions on all 9 courses that I teach. Each course has a variety of videos. At this point, I have I'd say over 50 videos that students of mine have access to. The courses themselves are in basic DJing, basic scratching. There's a workshop archives video where it's just archival workshop sessions with me talking to students. There's a master class. There's a beat juggling course. There's advanced scratching course. There's 9 courses. I can't think of all of them right now, but you can learn all of the different aspects of DJing from start to finish. It's not like at Brolic Army DJ School, I only focus on beat juggling, which is what I'm known for, or only focus on scratching. I touch on all the different aspects of DJing, and not just turntablism. Like, you sign up to Brolic Army DJ School and you're gonna learn how to curate a set, how to set loops to make or enhance your set list. You know, you don't want to sound like everyone else. And that's something that I very much pride myself on as a DJ. And I try to push on to my students, be unique. So you sign up to Brolic Army DJ School at the website, and you're now having access to my concepts, my theories on DJing. And the way I designed the tutorials, it's like you're here in the lair, the way Circle was training with me, except it's virtually and you're at home watching on your computer or from your phone. But it's very easy, man. And I throw out challenges for my students just to keep them on their toes and to help them apply what it is that I'm imparting on them. I feel like one thing I pride myself at my school is to put my students in positions to not just learn from me, but apply what they're learning. So the next challenge that's coming up is a battle I call the Civil War, which is only for my students. And that's gonna launch in October. And I'm prepping my students for that. They all battle each other for a championship boxing belt. And it's usually a fun time, and the battle lasts about 3 to 4 weeks. Circle was in my last challenge back in, what was it? I think it was June. We did a challenge called the Squad Challenge, where 3 members of the Brolic Army compete against 3 other members of the Brolic Army in a completely different part of the world and put together a team set. So it's more than just a DJ school where you learn how to DJ. It's a community.
Cool. Lee, got anything to?
Yeah. Thanks again for joining us, Rob.
Right on.
You've answered a lot of the questions that I was going to ask you, but I remember seeing a video a long time ago. It was a behind the scenes when Rock Raider, rest in peace, was prepping for his world title that he won at DMC, and I was just pointing out to myself really that even back then, and you've answered it yourself, you was always been a teacher, because there's quite a lot of it where you're evaluating his set and like, nah, you need to, spin back a couple more times, or, and you was evaluating that set. So you've been a teacher, you've said it, you've been a teacher all through your career really. So that's just what I was going to point out and ask you, but you've already answered it, and I've really liked watching that. You just sitting there and evaluating, because that's a skill in itself. And I think teaching turntablism has got to be one of the hardest things. I've been here all throughout, and I couldn't teach anybody anything. I really couldn't. So it's a skill in itself. And I do think one question I would ask you: do you think that it raises your game too, because you've got to try and be better than your students? So
it's not, it raises my game up. Yes, teaching raises my game up, but not because in my head or in my heart I feel like I have to be better than my students. That's never the case. I always tell you could ask Circle. I remember when he came over, having a conversation with him, and this was a very interesting exchange, because I remember I was struggling with a certain beat juggle that I was trying to teach him. I was struggling getting it or landing it clean. And I remember Circle was like, yo, this is actually cool for me to watch you struggle, because usually when I see a video of Rob Swift on YouTube, or if I see you live on stage, you're perfect. You're nailing everything in a seamless, coherent fashion. And here I am at your house, and I'm watching you go through the same struggles that I go through sometimes when I'm practicing at home. And my thing there is, yeah, I struggle. I'm a DJ just like you, and I may be more popular or more well-known, but at the end of the day, we're dealing with the same gear, and I'm no different from Circle or anyone on this stream. I'm human. I bleed the same way. My brain functions the same way. My heart pumps just like anyone else's. I have 2 hands, 2 eyes, 2 ears, just like you all. So of course I struggle. And my thing to students is, at the end of the day, I've been around longer than the majority of my, well, really all my students. I've been around longer. So I may have more knowledge, but at the end of the day, I'm still a human being. And so it's not about me being this incredible, flawless superhero DJ. You know, I am Rob, and I happen to know a lot about this art form because of my brother, who taught me and passed me the knowledge that was passed on to him by the guys that started this. You know, he would go to the park jams. And so I'm just passing it forward, man. And in doing so, at some point, whether it's a circle or one of you hanging out with us on this stream, you'll then be that next person to pass on the knowledge that has been passed on to me, that I've passed on to you. And again, my goal is for this to just continue to grow. So it's never a competition thing. It's never, well, you're my student and I'm better than you, so just shut up and listen to what I have to say. There are times where I'm training with a student and the student does something and I'm like, yo, I never thought of that. And I'm learning, you know? So whether it's you're watching a video of myself and Grandmaster Rock Raider, rest in peace, at home training, or you're watching one of my tutorials on YouTube, or you're an actual student of mine at the Brolic Army DJ School, I'm always alert and looking for that next articulation of a technique that I'm not even thinking about, you know? So we're all DJs at the end of the day.
That's a cool answer. We've got a question from your man Circle. He wants to know the importance of being in a crew, how that affected your development as a turntablist.
Yeah, I would say being in a crew is something that I encourage all DJs to experience. Obviously, there are DJs in parts of the world that are isolated from other DJs. I know DJs, or one student in particular that lives in a part of Ohio here in the US that is just quiet, and people his age and that environment aren't thinking about flare scratches and beat juggle patterns. They're about working a 9-to-5 and providing for their family. So he's kind of this one person in this town DJing. And so it's hard for people like that to connect with others. But at the same time, we live in a digital world, and I'm in Queens right now, and I'm sure that there are people from different parts of whether it's the UK or just globally, all interacting right now on this one stream. So there's really no excuse to experience interacting with other people with regards to this art form now, because we're all connected. And you know, the web does that, social media does that for us. So obviously it's fun to be able to practice with someone at home and you're there physically with each other, the way I was with Circle, for example. But when I first connected with Circle, it was online, and you could get the same kind of motivation, inspiration out of a practice with a colleague via Skype or Zoom that you do in person. It's just about having fun, man, and making the most of a situation, you know what I mean? So I encourage people out there to get with others, whether it's in person or online. Again, the web connects us all. So use that to your advantage. I wish I had the web in a lot of ways when I was coming up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because yeah, like I remember with Qbert, for example, he and I would interact, but we would have to call each other. And if I wanted to show Qbert something, I'd have to put the phone to the speaker, run to the turntable, scratch, and then get his reaction to what I was doing. Now you guys could jump on a Zoom chat and look at each other do shit. Like, man, if I was coming up in this era, oh my God, I'd be connecting with DJs all over the world.
I've myself, that's why I really thank DJ Circle for getting Skratcher together, because I was saying I was at a stale point like I say, I've been a DJ for all my life, and I was at a stale point and nothing to, nowhere to progress, didn't really know that many people in my own, even in my own city. And Skratcher came along and it's just refreshed us. So the community side of it is absolutely amazing. So and as regards to the online things, we've got the online turntable Cypher. That's, I think they're ready to join us. I think I've got a message saying that they're ready to join us, the online turntable Cypher. So that's a good thing that's coming through. That's a group of people that meet on Zoom, share ideas. So
that's dope.
That is dope.
That's dope. It's so important to experience this art form with others. I feel like if it wasn't for my brother physically teaching me things, if it wasn't for my mentor, Dr. Butcher, and him opening his home to me Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. every day so I could practice with him after he got home from work, if it wasn't for being inducted into the X-Men courtesy of Steve D and Rock Raider, both of them lobbied the other guys for me to be a member of the group alongside my mentor, Dr. Butcher. If it wasn't for taking the train up to Harlem, New York City from Queens, New York on the weekends when I didn't have school, and taking my books with me and studying on a train, and then getting to Raider's house, putting my books down and taking my records out and practicing with him. If it wasn't for all of those experiences, working with others, I would not be here, because they all inspired me in different ways. And if you don't have people around you, you could find that online, thank God. So again, take advantage of the internet, take advantage of social media, take advantage of schools like Brolic Army DJ School, what you guys got going on over there with Skratcher Nottingham, because scratching, beat juggling, DJing in general is a communal experience. It feels best when you're experiencing it with other people. And if you're just in your bedroom by yourself scratching 100%. Or playing music, you're not really fulfilling the potential of what you can accomplish as a DJ. It's about interacting with people and not necessarily being in your bubble at home in your bedroom and only posting 60-second clips to social media. Like, you want to experience this with others too, in private sometimes, and not even, worry about likes or any of that.
All right, that's brilliant. Many thanks. Have you got anything else to add, Dan?
No, just thank.
So yeah, thank you very much for that. A brilliant performance of the showcase, you and Mr. Sinister. And we're gonna have to head off to the online turntablist Cypher. So many thanks again for joining us, Rob Swift.
Right on. Peace out.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
GQ, back to Leeds, back to the UK.
Easy, man. What you saying, bro? Respect.
How you doing, man? I can't see you. Where are you?
I'm chilling with my son and that. He's playing Street Fighter and that. I'm just chilling, bro. Big up everybody who's in here. Everyone that's done the search. Shouts out Rob Swift, man.
Awesome, Rob Swift. I love you, man. Rob Swift. I love you.
What he just said was perfect. Like the combination, because it's just perfect. And shouts out to John First, Vekked, Luke Skywalker, Statik. Yeah, man, everybody in there and that. So, yeah, what you saying? Yeah, I'm Fever. I can't forget man like Fever. Don't know.
So, hello, DJ Fever again.
Hello.
Nottingham.
I'll do. Can you hear me all right?
I'm a broski musical there, man. You're there now, easy, bro.
How's everybody doing? All right.
All good.
Musical look like he lurking to do something dirty. He in the dark.
My house is a mess, though. You're not seeing what my messy house looks like.
2-6.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's been a wicked night, really has, and it's good to finish up with the online turntablist cipher. Can anybody tell us anything about the turntablist cipher for those that don't know?
Yeah,
That's what we were looking for. Yeah, we were looking for you to tell us what the deal is.
Basically, it's what Rob Swift was talking about interacting, but it's a digital version. You know what I mean? It's like a new age version, because I've come up on everybody that's, you know, performed. I study. I'm a student of the game, and I've been isolated myself, especially with the COVID situation. Made it extremely difficult to jam with anybody, whether you was in your city or not. So it was all about online. So it's about jamming with like-minded people, sharing ideas. That's the bottom line. It's love. It's not a competition. Do you know what I mean? That's the total shot. I don't know what musical we're saying.
And you should tell them how you came about with the idea, like what brought it, tell them about the history, how it started, man.
Well, just like what Rob Swift mentioned, there was a guy in Ohio and there was no one to jam with, and I felt the same. You know, I'm gonna keep it real. It's like if you're DJ without no accolades or nothing, you feel a bit away in it. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes it seems like things are a bit clicky in the scene. You know what I mean? So I've reached out to peeps, and some peeps have been responsive, and some peeps haven't. So bottom line is, I was on my own, can't scratch with nobody. I wanted somebody to scratch with. I wanted to. When you're on your own, you reach a plateau, and there's only so much you can do on your own. So yeah, I just wanted somebody to scratch with. So I just reached out to everybody who I possibly could reach out to, and then it's just built into what it's built to. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, and I like your persistence as well, because it took you.
I've been in everybody's inbox, innit? I'm that annoying guy. Yeah. I've got a good heart, bro. I've got a good heart. I'm in everybody's inbox. The majority of people in here have been hammering your inbox, but it's for a reason, and it's for the love of the game. Simple and plain.
Like, I would argue that I get the most stress off GQ out of everybody in this room.
Because you don't turn up, fam. I ain't got no filter, me. I ain't got no filter, bro. I ain't got no filter. That's the bad thing. That's why I rather let musical talk, and I'm not saying no more.
So we will have a filter today, though, because this is for learning and arts councils. And
exactly. That's why I'm not saying no more. Musical can take over. I've said my piece, man. Respect.
No worries, Carl.
Like Leach said, he's very persistent. He got us all together by force, and we all enjoy it now. No doubt. He brought us together, man, and it's a beautiful thing. No doubt.
Doc Strange, hello.
Yes, Leach. Yeah, yeah. Yes,
Remember
the parties on Friday, man. We did this.
Yeah, I haven't been with you guys for a while, but yeah, they were fun. I will get back to it at some point.
It's been love, though, from the moment it started. I didn't think it was going to grow into what it grew into. That wasn't the plan. It just spiraled out of control, and you know what I mean. People from like shouts out Capo. I see, you know what I mean, Mike Mack. Yeah, the Capo's in Florida. Mike Mack is in Detroit. Big up Michael OG from my city. Tyson's in East Coast near Philly. Lydio ATL. Yeah, it's got like people from all over the world, and it's nice because different flavors, inspiration. You know what I mean? I hope I missed anybody out, but yeah, and I cannot forget man like DJ Circle. Yeah, bro, bare love for the connection within the Skratcher and the OTC and musical, my broski, because that's my right hand man right there. Don't know all day.
So just before we pass it over to Musical for a second, you let something slip the other day that Skratcher is going to be returning to Yorkshire. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? I know that's not the OTC, but that was for GQ.
Oh, you're asking me? Oh, well, it's really, if you're talking about Skratcher.
Hey, when you talk about OTC, I guess you're talking about it all, right?
No, not exactly, because Skratcher is a big brand that's been running for so long. Musical made the connect with the dude, I don't know what his name is, and then separately all of that spiraled into something else. It was Skratcher Bradford, and then now it's Yorkshire instead. But anything to do with Skratcher, musical's the man to really say about it, because I'm not. Yeah.
OTC
musical.
graphics. OTC graphics. Get your t-shirts. OTC. That's the man right there. OTC.
Shouts out Mike man, the hype man, on the ad libs. Easy, bro. Your musical, could you elaborate first, please?
So yeah, go on. What was the question?
Can you tell us about Skratcher returning to Yorkshire, specifically Leeds, because it was slipped out the other day, and I'm excited and I want to know about it. And then we're going to ask you a little bit more about the OTC after that.
Cool. Yes, Skratcher Bradford, as you know, has had a bit of a rebrand, so now it's Skratcher Yorkshire, bigger field, makes more sense. And the idea is that we're going to drop in, was it November? To be announced, as it were. Got some guest showcases, some big names in the UK game, the UK scene, as always, as Skratcher always does, Yeah, and yeah, it's going to be in Leeds. We haven't quite got the venue down yet. That's to be announced. But yeah, just look out on Facebook and through the OTC's Facebook page as well. Yeah, keep your eyes out on there.
So the OTC Cypher itself is we'll be following this event on a different Zoom link. How can people get involved? Is it just
there's an online group, there's an online Facebook group.
Yep, pretty simple really, yeah. Like DQ said, online Facebook group. You basically just go onto Facebook like we've all got and type in online Turntablist Cypher.
And do you have the link? Because you're going to be throwing one tonight, aren't you?
Yeah, so go on.
Either GQ or myself will throw the link into this chat. In fact, yeah, GQ, explain. You're the guy
yeah, there's a link, as in the direct link for the Zooms, and then if you've got a account on Zoom, I'll put the email in there, so you can just get a direct invite. I'm gonna find the link that we're gonna be using when this closes. We're gonna do a jam, a live cipher, private cipher. We just jam with each other. Doesn't have to be no perfect routine. You just do what you want. Don't worry about nothing. Nobody's judging you. It's just all love. It would be nice, you know what I mean, to have the people that are in here join and get involved.
Yeah, that's a good point, Circle. The link that we send, it is the same link every time now. So if you've got it, if you're ever wanting a job or anything, just go on, just open it up, see if there's anyone there. 9 times out of 10 there will be. We did used to have set days, but with the world opening back up again, yeah, it's getting a bit more sporadic. But yeah, as long as you're on the Facebook group, if you just shout out on there and get into the messenger as well, you can basically, there's always someone kicking about because it's a worldwide thing now. So
what's that? We got another question from Circle. Circle lurking in the background, but driving the show from the shadows.
Yeah, the first and the third Thursdays of the month, OTC and Fever. We'll be going through different techniques, just like what Rob Swift was saying. As he was learning, he's been sharing, what he's gained, and that's what we do. We share what we know. Like so, Fever's going to be sharing what he knows. We'll be sharing what we know. First and third Thursdays of the month.
And the link to the Zoom for after this, is that in the Facebook? If they follow the Facebook link that you've just posted in the chat, they'll be able to get it from there, yeah?
Yeah, I'm just going to try to copy it so it doesn't come out the way that it's just come out. One second.
So we will be wrapping things up in a minute, but let's just
Uh-huh.
make sure everybody's got what they need if they want to attend the OTC Jam.
I've just popped the link in there, so if anybody wants to,
Perfect.
when this ends, that one begins. If you want to just watch, you can watch. If you want to get involved, get involved. But just bear in mind, if you're DJing, you need direct audio. Otherwise, it'll mute your audio. But if you need help with setting up your audio, then yeah, we'll do that. We'll probably take you into a breakout room or something like that. Yeah, that's basically it. Unless there's anything you want to ask me, bro. Other than that, and big up Trekker as well on the tech. You know what I mean? He's a brother.
I think we've pretty much covered everything. So again, DJ Circle, the one who's organised this, who it wouldn't be taking place without. Shout out to DJ Circle over in Kuala Lumpur. God knows what time it is there now.
It's 5:10.
Whoa, voice from the shadows. Can we see your face?
Yeah.
DJ
It's
Circle, this is the man who's put everything together in the midst
guys.
of moving his family from England to Malaysia.
And they're all asleep right now, and they're in the next room, so I've got to keep it sweet and short.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah, thanks everybody. It's been amazing. Thanks for everybody who's performed. Thanks for hosting you guys. Thanks to Trekker again. It's made it run really smooth. And the jam is coming up next with Fever and the OTC crew. So jump on that. It'll be fun.
Okay.
Big up.
Respect. Thank you, everybody. Big up. Thanks for coming through. Luke, anything else to say before we?
No, I'm just going to thank everyone. Dirty Needles, I see you still there. I'll hook you up privately with Darren, who runs the Nottingham Skratcher, because he could give you some wicked advice, if that's cool with you, Darren.
It is, mate. I talked to him now, but I don't want to
yeah. We'll do that. I'll link you up in the on Facebook, and because he's starting something really good there, and that needs to be addressed. So yeah, nice one. And thanks to Vekked, John First, Statik, The Odd Couple, and the guys from OTC. And